At eMentum, the way it worked was we had individuals doing philanthropy and that kind of work when they came into the organization. And then over the course of the company growing, we harnessed and nurtured those seedlings of charitable work into more corporate-wide. So we took what was individual contributions and made them into more of a corporate program. So I think it has to kind of be there, even if it's on an individual level. Then it's a matter of just bringing it all together at a corporate level and fostering it, nurturing it, and expanding it. We have a multi-step interviewing process. We do the natural looking for the technologies and the core competencies that we need to deliver to our clients, but we also bring them into different settings outside of our traditional interview process where you can get to know them. So we don't come right out and really ask, well, what do you do outside of work? But we get to know them on an individual basis as we interview them, and we learn what they're doing. We talk about what we do, and you get feedback during the interview process that they are aligned with those activities. I think the most meaningful, there's actually two that are pretty meaningful for me and I think across the organization. The first one is the holiday gift baskets. That was one that sort of grew over time. It started on an individual basis, and that is where we individually collect food, and the company donates a certain amount of food. Then we come together as a company to pack baskets and then either deliver them ourselves to individuals in need or giving them to the Salvation Army. And it's just an interesting event and fun event and rewarding event to see everyone coming together. It's kind of a social activity for the eMentum staff, but it's nice and rewarding to see the baskets come together, and then you see the faces of the folks when they get delivered. The second one is kind of new for us, and this one is around our fallen soldiers, our fallen heroes, and laying wreaths at the National Cemetery. And that was a recommendation by one of our employees, started 2 years ago. And it's growing each year, and it's very rewarding to go there. You meet some of the families, you get to lay the wreaths, and it's a real rewarding moment. Around the wreaths, it's a little bit touchy, right? Because you don't want to approach people, and you just have to sort of do your wreath laying, and then you get to know the people. You get to talk to them, and they want to tell you a little bit about who they are. My son is a war veteran. He thankfully came home unhurt, but it's real rewarding to go out and meet the families and make that little bit of a bond and thank them for their service. I think the biggest lesson is there's a lot going on outside of our little technology bubble we work in every day. We're in cybersecurity and identity management, which is our core delivery, and we're very passionate about that. But it's nice to step back from the technologies and then be able to give back to the folks in need who are not clients and customers and don't care that much maybe about cybersecurity at the moment, but they really appreciate what we're doing and what we're trying to help them. And what we do is every quarterly meeting we have where we go over the usual business stuff, business development, revenues, and so on. We also talk about any new events, anything we want to do, any philanthropic things we want to get involved in. Here's what we've got planned for the next 6 or 8 months. So every quarter we have some sort of a conversation around, here's our plan, here's our schedule, is there anything new? Because we're always adding new employees, so we always solicit new ideas about every quarter. I think I'd like to see more grassroots, more getting involved. It's one thing to write a big check and you get your picture taken and in print. It's another to really donate the time for the employees to bring their ideas and their efforts to bear. So I think there's got to be this combination of donation of time at the corporate level, taking an impact to revenues, for instance, and then also fostering ideas and different ideas from the organization, because everybody has their kind of pet philanthropy activity, whether it's giving warm coats, whether it's supporting the Humane Society, whether it's giving food baskets. So I'd like to see more corporate pooling of those ideas and activities and maybe spreading around the philanthropic efforts. As we solicit ideas, we get a lot. And so what we did, and maybe it's a little bit of a cop-out, but we picked some that we're going to do as a company, as like an event. And then we also give hours. So we have 10 hours per employee that they can go off and do whatever they like. So we kind of dodge the yours is better than the others by saying, here's the ones we as collectively are going to do. But if you have a personal one or one that didn't quite make the collective through voting, you still have 10 hours that you can use on your own. You don't have to get it approved, you don't have to announce it, you just write it on your timesheet, 10 hours to whatever event you wanted, and you go off and do it. So we've been able to avoid the, yours is not as important as others. We allow to do both. I think one of the unique things we're doing is our efforts are more national, where we do a lot of things in the DC area, but we also have supported some efforts outside of the area, and I think companies should keep in mind there's activities and things going on in the nation that need to be addressed that are outside DC. We had the police dog and a canine dog that we sponsored down in Louisiana that had an untimely death, and they didn't have the money with budget impacts from Katrina to be able to get a new canine dog and get it trained. And so we donated some money to purchase the dog and train the dog and get the dog back out on the streets. So with our attachment to law enforcement through our work at DOJ, we felt that was a good synergy, and but it was outside the region, so it's easy to say, well, it's not DC, so we don't care, when in fact we do. And I'd like to see companies take a little more broad look. Even if you're a DC-based company, there are things going on and there's needs elsewhere.